What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the mother freaking channel. I want to give a quiet gang shout out to Miss Dohilo, Letitia Tramble, Vendetta Fanatic, and Kimber. Thank you guys so much for being the first to comment on my last video. Thank you so much to everyone who tries to make it to these videos. And if any of you guys are new here, make sure that you subscribe and hit that bell. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up because it's gonna be a good one. So in today's video, I wanted to do a detailed kind of like talk through about acrylic application for beginners and how to use nail forms. This video is sponsored by MODELONES. They sent me a bunch of their new acrylic powders. And you guys, these powders are amazing. Like, I'm extremely excited about these. They're beautiful. They're so pretty. Like, I don't have anything like this at all. And they kind of held up to my standard as far as like consistency and application. It was a bit cold in the room, and we'll talk about that later once we start applying them. And if you're new, you need to know like everything about acrylics. So I'm going to talk about like all those little like tips and tricks that have to do with having a really flawless and easy acrylic application. I feel like a lot of people are afraid of acrylic. I used to go hard and say that polygel is great for beginners. However, if you're comfortable with polygel and you're at that point where you're like ready and willing to try something new, you can step into acrylic. You don't have to be afraid of it forever. I think it's honestly my favorite product to work with, maybe because it's the first thing that I learned with, and I don't know, I just feel like there's so many more designs you can do. You might even find it to be easier than polygel. If you're still struggling with polygel, you might like the fact that it's self-setting, so you don't have to like be in and out of the lamp all the time. I personally love that part of it. There's just so many more designs you can do like easier and more efficiently. And if you are a nail tech, you're going to be taking clients, acrylic is going to give you a lot more bang for your buck. You can buy acrylic in bulk a lot easier than buying polygel in bulk. I don't know any brands that sell polygel in bulk to the point where it would be cost effective to take clients, you know what I'm saying? But then again, I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, you guys. So I'm swatching out all of these gorgeous colors here, and I'm just absolutely, I was stunned. I wish there were some solid colors, but I'm sure they'll be coming with solid colors soon. Everything you could want is here as far as glitter. They have 2 different golds, a silver. They have like that iridescent chunky mix, this like peachy sort of shade. They have reds. They have a ton of blues in here, purple, and they have some kind of like multicolored interesting things. I'm gonna write down the numbers. There's no names for these, they're just numbered. So in like one of the next clips, I'll have all the numbers and you can just pause and see which one do you like the most. I'm sure you guys can guess which one I was feeling the most. I'll let you guys take a wild guess. Which one was it? Which one do you think it was? So I ended up using a ton of these. I'm gonna have listed in the description box all of the colors that I ended up using on this set. I just grabbed whatever looked cute to me, and we're doing a kawaii, full-on kawaii 3D Gyaru style, extra long XXL AF, extra AF, I don't even know how to talk. And these are all the glitters I'm using, and these are the nail forms from Eno Couture. So I'm gonna do a very like slow motion how I put on my nail forms, and this has never failed me. Now you guys, I'm not a professional. I'm not professionally trained. I'm self-taught through YouTube. So I'm just like y'all. I mean, a lot of you guys here might be as self-taught as well. I've never taken a professional class. I've never been to nail school. So I just kind of learned through what I've seen on YouTube. And this is the easiest way for me. And I mean, it works for me every time. So you close the form at the bottom. You close those flaps, but you don't want to close the back flaps until it's on your hand. And you want it to look like this, straight down the barrel. Everything needs to be fitting from sidewall to sidewall. If you do have like interesting shaped fingers, you can customize the forms and cut them to your liking. And then once everything looks good, that's when you close it around your finger. And if it's a good form, if it's a sticky form, it should be locked and loaded, locked in place, ready to go. So I hope that was helpful. If you guys want any more help with nail forms, let me know your questions down below and I'll try to do my best to help you guys with that. So I'm using Young Nails. I forget what this color is called. I think it's called like Cover Pink or Cover Blush, something to that effect. And I'm just doing a nail bed, and I'm not gonna go in with a hand file to fix this because I don't need it to be like super perfect and crisp, because this is kind of just like not like I guess what I'm saying is it doesn't have to look like a super snatched French, because that's not really the vibe I'm going for. I don't know how to explain this aesthetic. It's like very casual and laid back form of nail art, and I love it. I've been seeing a lot of it all over my feed on Insta, and I don't know. And I miss this like extra over the top look. I have a feeling this video is not going to do well, but I'm doing it just for pure enjoyment. So I hope some of you guys out there appreciate this look or wanted to know how to do stuff like this. So I'm going to be encapsulating a bunch of these glitters on the French tip nails. So you'll just pick them up with a wet brush, and the monomer on the brush is going to help you kind of pick up these glitters, and you'll just tap them in to the acrylic, and that should be enough to hold them in place if the acrylic is still wet. If the acrylic is not wet, you can just brush over a little bit of clear acrylic, and that should work as like a glue as well. When it comes to Frenches, there's people who say like don't cap the pink part, just cap the tip or cap like whatever. I'm gonna cap the whole nail because I want to build up an apex in my nails. I don't want my nails to be completely flat, and I don't really build up the pink very high. I build it up flat and then I cap my nail with clear. That's just how I choose to do things. I've had people get on my case for this before. I don't know why people can't just let like everyone do what they want to do with their own nails, but yeah, I think it's because like, I don't know. I think nowadays it's a lot more lax. Like it wasn't as intense as it used to be like in the community, I think. But yeah, back in I don't know, when at like 2016 or 2017 when I was doing my little nail videos, I was like getting tore up for capping my pink and whites and my Frenches and stuff. So anyways, this is gonna be like an ombre, a glitter ombre, and these are so easy to do. You really can't mess these up. Something I noticed is that I was having runny beads, but I just worked with it. If the room is cold, your beads are going to be on the runny side. If your room is warm, your beads are going to set up a lot quicker. So just keep that in mind. You might want fast acting beads. There's monomers that set quickly, there's monomers that are slow setting, and then there's of course the ones that are in between. I'm using the red monomer. I love this one. It's low odor to me, and it works well to me, so that's what I'm using. This is the acrylic sculptor brush from Young Nails. I do also recommend the alpha brushes. Those are what I usually use, but I just ran out of my brushes, so I'm waiting for my brush to come in the mail. I have a number 10 in the mail, so I'm excited to use that one. Because yeah, this Young Nails brush is getting a little bit frayed. The hairs are kind of getting like thin over time, but it's still a good brush. So I'm just gonna cap that glitter blend, and it looks so pretty when it's capped. Oh my god, you definitely want to cap your glitters, because once you start filing your nails, you don't want to file through your glitter. It's gonna make it look like scratchy and messed up, and you're gonna lose your blend and all your hard work. So definitely apply your colors thin, and then build the bulk of your nails with the clear acrylic. So something that I learned with acrylic is you want to clean your monomer out for every hand that you do. I don't necessarily always do this, but I do notice that after doing one full hand, the monomer does become dirty. There's glitter particles all throughout it. That might cause issues when you're doing Frenches and you don't want glitter inside of the pink part. And it also kind of gets a little bit gummy and sticky. It kind of depends on the monomer though. This one didn't get gummy right away. It takes like a full day for it to finally get like sticky and unusable. Definitely do not use leftover monomer from like the last time you did your nails, because you're gonna notice that the beads are like darker. The color won't be as vibrant. You won't be able to pick up as big beads, and it's just not gonna be like fresh, and it's gonna be hard to work with. It's not gonna set properly. It's gonna be soft on the nail and gross. So yeah, if you can just pour out enough for one hand. If you need more, you can always add more. Try not to over pour out your monomer. Be wiping your brush like, okay, so I wipe my brush really frequently. I'll dip my brush into the monomer dish, drag through to pick up a bead. If I want a really big bead, I'll leave my brush in for a little bit longer. If I just need a small bead, I'll just quickly go in there and get a small bead. I don't have a preference between tapping or dragging. I'll do either way. I don't see any difference between them. But if you're a beginner, I would say maybe tapping. Honestly, like, it doesn't even make it that much of a difference to me. I've heard that I've heard that dragging makes the powder set at different rates or something, but I don't really get how that makes any sense to me. I don't know, maybe one of you guys can enlighten me on that. So after I pick up the bead, I'll kind of look at the bead and wait for the bead to be like fully saturated with monomer. Sometimes you'll pick up a bead and it's still dry on the outside, but the parts that are touching the brush are like wet. You kind of want to wait for the monomer to fully moisten, I hate that word, up the whole bead, and then once it's fully wet, you can then apply it onto the nail. So this video is not really going to talk about nail prep, how to make your nails last, because this is just a display set that I'm going to pull off right after. If you want to know how to prepare your natural nails, I'll put a video in the cards where I'm doing my sister's nails, and you'll follow those steps that I do in that video. Basically, you'll do your cuticle prep, you'll do your dehydrator primer, and then you'll put on your base coat gel and cure on your tips if you're going to use tips. If you're not going to use tips, you'll just put on the base coat gel and then pop your form on, and then just do what we're doing here. So you're gonna notice on this finger, there was a huge gap between my free edge and the form. Typically, you're supposed to take that little piece of the form that remains on the paper, on like the backing. You're supposed to take that and stick it like under the form and do like all this fancy stuff to make, you know, the form meet your free edge. I don't do that. I personally just don't care enough to do it. It doesn't bother me that that little piece of acrylic is under there. No one can see it. You can go in and file it if you want to, if you don't feel like fiddling with the form all like that. It is the professional and proper thing to do, and if I were working on someone else, I would do it, but because it's just a display nail, I'm just like whatever, going for it. It was also a long night, and I was ready to get this set done. But yeah, if you're working on someone who has bitten nails, it's probably a good idea to put that little piece of the form under there, or just customize the form so that it fits better. And if that's something you guys want help with, I'll do a video all about that, customizing forms and stuff. My sister does have extremely bitten nails, so maybe that's something I should be doing on her instead of using tips on her. I think I'm gonna start using forms on her instead now. So this nail is a stiletto nail. And there's just nothing like a nail form nail, you guys. Like, oh my god. And that's another thing. If you love that sculptured look that you get with forms versus tips, or like soft gel nails or whatever, you probably want to learn acrylic, because I find that polygel with forms, it's not impossible. It's definitely doable. And it's like, there's a learning curve to it, but it's so much easier using acrylic, you guys. Like, I don't know, it's almost night and day. Like, trying to smooth polygel down a shiny form, it's just like, wow. And then the fact that like a lot of my nails, my natural nails, are very short, the form is not that secure on my finger for me to be able to like press really hard on it, because you know some polygel is like really firm. This is not really supposed to be like a polygel versus acrylic video. They're both great, but I'm just saying, because I noticed there's a lot of people who watch my channel right now are not interested in acrylic whatsoever, and this is something I noticed with my peers as well, who kind of upload mostly polygel content. They'll be like, yeah, acrylic is still my favorite. So like, that should tell you something, that it's really fun, it's really dope, like it's really good. I don't know. And like, let's be real, the colors that you can get with acrylic, you can mix your own colors a lot easier. I find when I mix polygel, a bunch of air bubbles get trapped in the polygel, and I have to let it set like overnight so all the air bubbles will rise to the top. And it's a really messy process. It's really wasteful. So that's just like some pros and cons between the two. If you were kind of like thinking, should I try this? Should I not try this? It's worth trying, I think. It is a little bit more expensive when you have to factor in the fact that you have to buy monomer. So there's that, but I think still in the long run, it's a lot cheaper than polygel. So we're just filing. I wanted to show you guys what the mini toy e-file looks like. This is the new one from eNail, and it's so cute. It's like flashing on my screen, because like these LCD screens do that. Y'all probably already know that, but for anyone who's wondering why it's flashing, it's just like the effect of my camera messing with it. It doesn't look like that in real life. And it has this really cute cursive writing on it, and I love it. This e-file is cordless, and I love being cordless. I love that I'm able to put the e-file on the right side of me, because my previous e-file was huge. It was probably like 4 times as big as this, and it was on the left side of me, and it was like the cord was constantly in my way, like coming right across from me, and it was just a hard time. But this is so much easier. Like anything that can free up my elbow space is beautiful. It's great. I love it. After I go in with the e-file, I'm going to go in with a hand file, and I just buffed the nails and brought in the sidewalls a bit. And because these nails were not fully adhered on, I was being really gentle with the filing today. I could have filed these a little bit more snatched, but they're not awful. But yeah, anyways. So I'm just using this MAKARTT gel glue. I love this gel, you guys. Like, I don't know, y'all probably have noticed I've been using it nonstop. I love that it's tack free. It comes out of the bottle really easily, and it actually works. It really, really works. I've had these nails on for a couple hours now, and I was like cleaning up and like doing my hair and stuff, and everything's fine. Everything's still in place, so that says a lot. So I'm gonna put these on with the gel, and I'm just doing some like kawaii desu type uwu stuff all over my nails, some boo boo kawaii-ish, and then I'm gonna cure that, flash curing it with this little mini flashy, and then I'll put my hands in the big lamp to get a full cure on this, and then I'll top coat. And then that's about it after the top coat. I hope this kind of made you guys feel just a little bit more confident about using acrylic. I know it's kind of scary to try new things, but I'm just gonna do that. I'm gonna do my best to kind of like always encourage you guys and try to fill you up with that confidence. There's so many people who have tried out polygel and did the lazy girl method for their first time, and like I've seen y'all's pictures on Instagram. Y'all have been literally killing it. There's so many new nail techs that have become like nail enthusiasts due to COVID and having no other option and forced to do their own nails, and they're out here killing it, and they haven't even been doing nails that long. So like I think people I think it's human nature to just adapt, but you can't know if you can do it unless you try. You have to really try and give it a good go. Like don't try just once, try a couple times, put in a lot of effort, and just keep practicing. If you guys go back on my channel, my first sets were very bulky, they were very big, and like that's just how I did nails at the time. But over time, you just get better over time. That's like with anything. It's like riding a bike. You're gonna wobble, you're gonna fall down, but you get right back on the bike, you dust yourself off, and the next thing you know, you feel more and more confident, you're less afraid. And I think fear is literally a mind killer. I used to feel intense fear when I would sit down to do a set like on my sister or my mom, to the point of like sweating bullets and shaking, feeling nauseous, and like that's not good. That's not a good mindset to be in. That's gonna just make things so much harder than it needs to be. So always approach your projects or your sets with like confidence, belief, believe in yourself. It really is a game changer. That goes for the e-file too. I think the biggest stride I made with the e-file was finally like not being afraid of it. As soon as I stopped being afraid to cut myself or cut my client, as soon as that fear went away, it was like I suddenly had control. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thank you for all of the love lately. It's been super positive over on Instagram and here on YouTube, and I'm just super grateful you guys decided to chill out with me and watch this video today. I'm really thankful to y'all, and I hope that you guys are having a really good day or night wherever you are. I love you guys all so much, and thank you to my patrons, and I'll see you in the next one. I love you. Bye.